All right, what's up everybody? Today what I'm going to be doing is comparing the Masterforce impact driver that boasts 2,000 inch-pounds to the Metabo that boasts, they got a weird number, 1,800 something odd pounds, to the Milwaukee that boasts 2,000 inch-pounds, and then we have the Surge Milwaukee that boasts 450 inch-pounds. Paltry in comparison, but all you guys say is just as strong. I will see about that. To the Masterforce Surge comparable impact driver that boasts 500 inch-pounds. Now, basically what these are, they're hydraulic impact drivers. They produce less vibration, they're quieter, and we'll measure all that later on inside. But for now, let's go ahead and get the test started, and we're going to see of all these which can drive a 5-inch, quarter-inch lag bolt into these 2x4s. Let's go. Now to start the testing for all of this, I'm going to be using 4-amp-hour batteries for the Metabo and the Milwaukee. But as for the Masterforce, all I have is a 2.5-amp-hour battery, so unfortunately that's a little unfair. But we'll see what she does. All right, so first up we're going to weigh them, and we're going to start with the Milwaukee Surge, which comes in at 2 pounds, 2.1 ounces. Next up, we're going to weigh its competitor, the Masterforce hydraulic, and that comes in at 1 pound, 15.8 ounces. Wow, impressive. Another thing I wanted to note was this. When you shake this, it makes a clickety-clackety noise. I don't know if that's just the hydraulics being loose so that they can move back and forth, but yeah. All right, now for the Milwaukee Fuel. 2 pounds, 3.6 ounces. The Metabo. 2 pounds, 1 ounce. And finally, the behemoth Masterforce, clocking in, I still have the tag on it, but clocking in at 2 pounds, 12.7 ounces. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. It's just bigger than what it weighs. All right, so at the lightest we have the Masterforce Surge, the Metabo HPT, then the Milwaukee Surge, then the Milwaukee M18, and finally the behemoth Masterforce. All right, next up we're going to measure them out. Starting with the Metabo, which measures and comes in at about 5 inches. The Milwaukee coming in at a lot less, just over 4.5 inches. and the Masterforce coming in at right under 6 inches. The Milwaukee the Milwaukee Surge coming in at 5 inches, and the Masterforce hydraulic coming in at just at 5.25. All right, so we have the Milwaukee M18 coming in at the shortest, then the Metabo HPT tied with the Milwaukee Surge. Next up, the Masterforce hydraulic, and then, of course, the brunt Masterforce impact. All right, immediately, one of the things that I noticed is with the Masterforce, it's a lot like the Milwaukee in the sense that when you insert the bit, you can just push it in. You don't have to pull it in and push it in, which I like a lot. And when you want to eject, it shoots it out, which none of the other ones do, including Milwaukee, which is brilliant. Unless you're up on a ladder or something and that thing shoots somewhere else out, but you only need one hand to do it. All right, let's get started. We're going to put it on its highest setting for driving lags. And we're not timing it or anything, we're just going to see how it performs. Wow, it totally handled that. Yeah, okay. All right, Masterforce. Next up is the Metabo. As you can see, I can't just push it in, I have to pull it out and push it in. I need to wake up a little bit, all right. I will say that once that got going, it was easier than the Masterforce, but not significantly so. All right, now for the Milwaukee. I'll put it all the way up to 3. I gotta say the Milwaukee was the easiest out of the bunch. It was the easiest to get started because it started off kind of slow to, you know, grab it, and then, you know, it just went right on through like butter. So now let's try the Surge. So it handled it. It handled it just fine until it got to the end, and then it, you know, got hung up a little bit. All right, let's try the Masterforce. Okay, Masterforce. All right, so things that I noticed. The Masterforce hydraulic impact driver was a lot more vibrating than the Milwaukee. I just made up a word, but it vibrated way more than the Milwaukee. It was also louder, but it also didn't hesitate at all. The other impacts, yes, they do create more noise, and they are, you feel it more, for sure. But yeah, man, this thing is like butter. But obviously, it's not as powerful as this. That is a fact. But it is quite powerful. That 450 inch-pounds, I mean, if this is 2,000, this feels like more like 1,700, 1,600. It doesn't feel like 450 at all. All right, so let's move on to something else. Let's move on to these 3/8. I'm just curious to see if any of them can drive this. All right, so first up is the Masterforce, and we're going to see if this can handle it with a 2.5 amp hour battery too. So let's go. Now I did change my bits here. Those Huskies aren't impact rated, and I kind of saw a little bit of, that was honestly probably from the lag bolt, but still, I want to get something that claims to be impact rated anyway, these Castlemans. First up is the hydraulic. Okay, I'm gonna call that a no, and it was vibrating way too much. All right, on to the Milwaukee. If that one couldn't do it, I don't think this is gonna do it. Nope, I didn't think so. Let's go over to this Milwaukee. 1, 2, 3. That was very loud. It kept going, but I'm going to stop it there. I need to get some ear protection. Okay, I got my gun range earmuffs on now. All right, so let's now try the Metabo. Slight work. Oh my goodness, did you see that? Slight work. So let's go ahead and do the Masterforce and see what happens. But that was less vibration. That was faster than the Milwaukee. Wow, and I will say, using driving at the 3/8 lag, this Milwaukee experienced way less vibration than the Surge. So when it comes to bigger bolts, the regular impact is what you want. Now let's try this Masterforce. That was so impressive. Let me lay these down. All right, Masterforce, let's see what you're talking about over here. All right. And another thing I wanted to say, a lot of these videos, when you see people, you see them pushing on it. I'm not using any force other than just my hand, if you notice. Start off. Wow. Wow, on a 2.5 amp hour battery. That is, I don't think I need to say that is quite impressive. It actually outdid the Milwaukee there. That's something. This is Milwaukee, M18 fuel non-surge. This is Milwaukee right here. This is Metabo, which it made slight work. They did the best by far. And this is Masterforce. Wow. Another thing I'm kind of just looking at is how rounded the edges are. I wanted to see which one drove it the cleanest. And let's take a look at that. All right, so if we take a close look here, look at the Masterforce, we see it's slightly rounded a bit. It's not as clean. You can tell maybe there were more impacts. I don't know, but it's not as clean. It's slightly rounded. The Metabo did a much better job. It looks rounded. It's chipping a little bit on top, but it's still very square. The Milwaukee by far did the best. It still looks original with some slight flaking on the top, but I mean, also it had a lot further to go. So who's to say that by the time it got down here, it wouldn't look the same as the Metabo or this Masterforce here. The Masterforce definitely did a sloppier job, but it got her done. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is drive these timber screws, and they're 4 inches, and we're going to see which one can do it without camming out. And we're going to do it all on number 2. So first up is the Milwaukee. We won't be using the surges this time. Perfect, which I figured. Next up is the Metabo, that was weird what it just did just now. Like it's almost like it goes to a sleep mode. I have to like pull the trigger to get it to turn on to be able to adjust everything. I got it on 2, and this has 4 speed settings, so where the Milwaukee has 3. Oh my gosh, that happened so quick. Okay, all right. Now for the Masterforce. Boop. Oh, it didn't shoot this one out. Interesting. That's in there. All right. So Masterforce is going to be down here. Oh, put it on 2. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Same for this. I had to like push the button. I had to squeeze the trigger to get it to wake up to change it. So we have that on 2 out of 3. All right, let's go. All right. I don't remember, but I feel like that was the slowest. Now, let's see if they can get them out. Let's try on level 1. Get them out. None of them cammed out, so. Whoa, shoot, that was on 1. Wow. Oh, it spit that one out. Okay. See, if you're not ready for it, it'll spit it out and you miss it. Okay, so let's take them out. All right, Metabo on 1. All right. Slight work. A lot more gentle, which, you know, that might be a good thing. All right. Milwaukee on 1. Milwaukee even more gentle, which I do think is a good thing for it to come out controlled like that so it doesn't damage the piece. But, I mean, it didn't damage anything, the Masterforce. So that concludes the test. Overall, I would definitely say the Metabo came out on top. The Masterforce really, really surprised me. And the Milwaukee surprised me too. I mean, it still did good. I'm not gonna lie, I expected it to do better. And these were fully charged batteries. As you can see, still fully charged. Still fully charged. And fully charged there. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's just simply talk about them. I'm really, really impressed with the Masterforce. Doing all of that with a 2.5 amp hour battery, it's very powerful. You know, is it durable is the question, and that I don't know. Getting the whole kit with the charger, the battery, and that little pack out case for $110, not including that 11% rebate, is, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. That is a clearance price, and I believe the original price is $150 for the kit, where at that point you could spend a little bit more money and you're in Metabo area or even Milwaukee area on a hackable deal. So obviously I like the Metabo the most. The things I like about the Metabo, one, it just killed the competitors in this head-to-head, but also it's IP56 rated, which means it's dust resistant and waterproof. I could take a hose if this thing gets dirty and I could just spray it on there and it'll be perfectly fine. The other thing I like about it is the lifetime warranty. The Masterforce has a 3-year warranty, Milwaukee has a 5-year warranty, and this is lifetime. The last thing I like about it is that it is a multi-volt tool. All Metabo HPT tools that take a 36-volt battery can be powered by a battery or also an AC adapter. So it is very versatile. If you run out of battery juice, you just get the adapter, plug it in, and you're working all day long. And I just feel like that is incredible. The Milwaukee Surge, I do see the appeal if you're doing lightweight work, and most people aren't driving lags that big all day, every day. So I do see the appeal to this. The thing about it, though, it is not always quieter and smoother than the regular Impact. The reason I say that is this regular Impact is just more powerful. When it came to the 3/8 inch lag, this, because it bogged down, I mean, I experienced a lot of vibration, but because this was much more powerful, to the point that it got it, I didn't feel anything. Okay, so it just kind of drove it down a lot easier and smoother because it's more powerful, and that's the point I'm just trying to make. If it's more powerful, you aren't going to feel all of that vibration. So I personally still don't feel like there is a need for me with this, but if you're working on delicate items, you know, I could see the appeal, especially if you have to use it all the time. But this does not have a whole lot of vibration at all. Now, the Masterforce, initially, again, on small jobs, it does a pretty good job of dampening the vibration. However, when it gets bogged down, it gets to something that it can't handle, you know, this thing shakes more than any of the other ones. So, yeah, this is something I don't recommend. It does appear to be more powerful than the Milwaukee Surge. It was able to handle a little bit more, but not without a lot of shaking and grooving. So I would not recommend that either. All right, so another thing I want to talk about when it comes to these Impacts are their batteries, because that matters. I mean, Milwaukee, this is a 4 amp hour battery, and it's pretty compact for a 4 amp hour battery. Compared to this Metabo 4 amp hour battery, this is a lot heavier. Well, it's not a lot heavier, but it's much bigger. I mean, look at that. It dwarfs the Milwaukee, and that matters when you're trying to go in tight spaces. And then you have this 2.5 amp hour battery from Masterforce, which is also pretty big. It's not as tall as the Metabo, but for a 2.5 amp hour battery, it is quite large. Now, where's our Masterforce? Okay, so here's our powerful guy right here. All right, now it has 3 settings. As you can see, I'm blinding you with this light. It has the best light out of all of them, hands down. It has, kind of close your eyes a little bit, but it has that yellow, that yellowish tint which illuminates the area much better than the Metabo, for example. Now the Metabo has this light here, but one of the cool features is you can turn the light on and off. I can just turn it on as a flashlight, and then I could turn it and set it so that it comes on and has a delay when I pull the trigger, which is pretty cool. But you have it here, and it's kind of has a bluish tint, and it doesn't illuminate the area as well. Like I said, now the newer one is going to have 3 LEDs, which should resolve that issue, but I think that those 3 LEDs again have a bluish tint to them. Now the Milwaukee, unfortunately, this also has that bluish tint. It has a light just like the Metabo here. The Milwaukee has 4 settings, and it has a self-drilling setting, as well as the Metabo has the same thing. Other little features I've covered in the unboxing is the belt clip, and this just has a bit holder. The Masterforce also has a bit holder. I did not connect it in a belt clip as well, but the bit holder on the Masterforce can hold 2 bits, unlike the one to the Milwaukee. Now, the Metabo here has a belt clip, and it has a strap that you can wrap around your wrist, which I hadn't even noticed until literally just now, and I've used this thing several times. I don't know how I didn't notice the strap, but it has a strap. So again, overall, especially for the $79 that you can get this from Menards right now, depending on when you watch this, this might not be available anymore. They might have they do have a new one coming out, the DeWALT, which is supposed to have less vibration than this, which this doesn't have much. Less vibration, more powerful, 3 LED lights, and an extra power mode. So it's supposed to be a lot more powerful, but this right here is still a little gem. And if you need a good impact driver, this is what I would recommend for the money and overall value. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, you want to see more like it, let me know. And I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.